Very early one morning a couple of years ago, I found myself in Midtown Manhattan to take care of some business. I hadn't eaten breakfast yet, so I walked into a Dunkin' Donuts. And I went up to the young lady behind the counter and I said to her, I would like a cinnamon raisin bagel, toasted very well with plain cream cheese. And when I said those words, this young woman burst into tears. So I said to her, if it's too much to toast it very well, I'll take it untoasted. But apparently that wasn't what she was crying about. Of course, I was wearing my clerics, and she looked me up and down. She realized I was a priest, and she blurted out for all to hear, I haven't been to confession in 6 years. And I said to her, we could do something about that. And so she left her post. One of her coworkers took her place. We went outside of the Dunkin' Donuts. I had my little purple travel stole, which I took out of my pocket and put around my neck. And right there on the sidewalk of Manhattan, I heard her confession. She poured out 6 years of sins on that sidewalk in Manhattan. I gave her absolution, and the tears she cried as she was being absolved were even bigger than the ones she cried first behind the cash register. We went back in, and she was almost physically transformed by the mercy she had received. I would dare say her co-workers didn't even recognize her. She gave me my bagel for free, and it was very well toasted. Well, in that brief but very powerful experience that I had in Manhattan, today's gospel was reenacted. Today's gospel from Luke chapter 5, we're told that a man full of leprosy was in one of the towns where Jesus was. That young woman behind the counter at Dunkin' Donuts was a spiritual leper. Then we're told that the man saw Jesus, fell prostrate, pleaded with him, and said, Lord, if you wish, you can make me clean. Was that not what that young woman was saying through her tears? And then we're told Jesus stretched out his hand, touched the leper, and said, I do will it be made clean. What gesture do you think I made when I gave that young woman absolution? I'm told by the church to stretch out my hand. And finally, we're told by Luke, the leprosy left him immediately. And our faith tells us when that young woman received absolution, her sins left her immediately. Today's gospel was reenacted on the sidewalk of Manhattan in my experience with that young woman, and it is reenacted everywhere in the world a sacramental confession is heard. You all just got over an outbreak of the coronavirus. I hope you're over it, or I wouldn't be here. Well, I and everybody who knows and loves you praise God that you're over it and that you're all okay. At any point during this saga, did any of you feel like a leper? Did you experience at all possibly being avoided for fear of contagion? If you did, it's a good thing because it means you'll never read the gospel stories about the lepers the same way again. But we have to all remember that the greatest leprosy in the world is not the coronavirus, and it's not modern-day Hansen's disease. The greatest leprosy in the world is sin. Our pride, our anger, our selfishness, our egoism, all of which is a true leprosy for the soul. The greatest leprosy is sin. But thank God, the Lord has given us the remedy, and it is his mercy dispensed to us in the sacrament of confession, where sinners forgive other sinners. It's not always easy to go to confession, but I'm sure you'll agree it's always beautiful to have gone to confession. How blessed we are to have been given this incredible remedy for the spiritual leprosy that we all suffer from. Your fight with the leprosy of coronavirus may be over, but I hate to break it to you, Your fight with the leprosy of sin will continue until the last day of your life. As you and I continue the battle with the leprosy of sin, I'd like to leave you with these words of Jesus to Sister Faustina about the beautiful remedy he has given us for that leprosy. My daughter, when you go to confession, to this fountain of my mercy, the blood and water which came forth from my heart always flow down upon your heart and ennoble it. Every time you go to confession, immerse yourself entirely in my mercy with great trust, so that I may pour the bounty of my grace upon your soul. When you approach the confessional, know this, that I myself am waiting there for you. I am only hidden by the priest, but I myself act in your soul. Here the misery of the soul meets the God of mercy. Tell souls that from this fount of mercy, souls draw graces solely with the vessel of trust. If their trust is great, there is no limit to my generosity.